All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back at the shop today working on the TT track car build, and today we've got an exciting install. If you're a Mark 1 TT owner or even a Mark 4 owner, and I don't know why I pointed at my Mark 1, but my Mark 1 TT's over there today, and we're gonna be doing probably one of the coolest installs of our track car build project. And I know a lot of you are probably curious, what were the biggest brakes, or what are some of the biggest brakes for as cheap as possible that we can slam underneath the wheels of our Mark 1 TT? We're keeping them 17-inch rims, and so we're sticking with a 17-inch compatible brake setup. And today, ladies and gentlemen, if you do follow me on Instagram, I have teased this for a while about the color scheme that we're going with on the car. And today in this box, I have a set of fully refinished 17Z Brembos off of, I believe, a Porsche Cayenne. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's color reveal time for our brake setup and all of the accenting stuff that is going to be going on our TT. So here we go. Boom. We've got powder coated 17Zs. This is a custom color, and you probably won't be able to see it. It's not very sunny out today, but this is the Prismatic Pearls. I can't remember what the name of the teal is, but it has a custom blue pearl also worked into the powder coat as well. And I'll try and get some shots for you guys where you can actually see the pearl, and I might be able to show you with my phone really quickly. I don't know if you can see the sparkles, but it looks super dope. But we're gonna go ahead and slam those onto the TT, and I actually have already done one side. And I'll show you guys how we did this side because I have to undo some broken stuff on the other side. But we've also got some ECS 2-piece rotor. Shout out ECS once again. I will have these linked in the description. These bad boys are drilled and slotted 2-piece, and they are basically the biggest rotor that we can fit with this caliper. So let's get this set up on the car, and let's see how it all fits together. All right, so we've got our new seals from Automotive Brake Solutions. Let's say they should fit. So we're gonna quickly do our brake seals and then go test fit these in the TT. Well, there we go. All of our silicone seals or dust boots are in, and we are ready to go test fit our big ass new Brembos on the TT. Okay, so let's see how fast we can get these swapped over now that we've done this a couple times. Everything should just kind of be like loosely put back together because I just need to test fit the wheels before we do like the final mount and everything. But so for the adapters, we're running Creation Motorsports adapters. So these bad boys, which I've already kind of put on here the first time I tried to fit these, but I had to get wheel spacers, so.
So I got this impact.
Okay, so with the calipers going on, the factory Mark 1 TT brake lines do not fit on the 17Z as they're a banjo bolt style. So the lines that we used are the ECS exact fit stainless brake lines for an R32 Mark IV. The vehicle side fitting is the same as the Mark 1 TT. It's just the fact that these are like a regular brake line fitting that go back into the rear side of the 17Z, and the part number for that is ES number 3553015, and obviously I'll have this all linked in the description as well. So any of the parts or anything that you guys see in this video that you can get, I will have linked in the description. So you also will need those. You can't use the factory Mark 1 lines. So yeah, just editor, put a photo of the brake lines on screen. Thank you very much. Here we go. Or back to it, I guess, or whatever. Anyways.
Okay, it's not fully tight, but it's on there enough where we can test fit the wheel. Oh my God, it fits. I can't see the hole. Is that thread? Do we trust Amazon lug nuts?
How much were they?
100 bucks.
Yeah.
I think I could, oh damn, those are kind of close. I think, good thing I didn't buy 10s. Dude, this fitment low-key gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Oh, what just happened? Oh, right. No tie rods. All right. I might be able to do 10 mil. I can't spin the rotor right now because I have to trim those bolts down because it hits the rotor. I don't know, on these wheels, I think maybe 15 is probably a good idea. Dude, look at the clearance to my barrels, holy. Look at the clearance. Oh wait, it's too bad I can't spin the wheel right now because of those goddamn bolts holding the brackets on, but they're in there, they fit, and they fit tight. God damn.
Yeah, yeet. All right, so it has been probably about a month and a half since we did the upgraded brakes on the TT. Now, we did have a couple problems with the car, not actually with anything going up in the front, or not actually with anything going on up in the front, but actually going on in the rear of the car. As you can tell, obviously we do have our teal brakes up front, but we don't have teal brakes in the rear. Now, I did film a whole install of doing the rear brakes as well, because we did have them color matched to the front calipers, which once again are the 17Zs out of a Porsche Cayenne. And the reason that they're not matched anymore is actually because the brakes I got powder coated almost killed me, actually out on the highway just behind where we're shooting the car right now. This is no discredit to the guy that did my powder coating, because as you can see from my front brakes, sorry that my wheels are really dirty, they look fantastic. And I don't know if you'll be able to really see on the other side, but you guys saw when we were installing them. They look great. They've held up well. We've put probably about 1,500 kilometers on the car since we did get the brakes done, and they've been awesome. But what we're assuming happened in combination of the sandblasting I did to clean them up to get them ready to go into the oven, but also the heat of being in the oven, is what caused the rear brakes to fail. So we don't actually have fully matching rears, it's just we have the fronts, and then we have the rear like carrier bracket, and I'm gonna try and find a really close teal to just like do a paint on instead of a full powder coat in the rear, because I don't really want to spend any more money doing that. But nonetheless, the car's braking system is basically fully upgraded now and ready to actually hit the track here in about a week from when I'm filming this video. It'll probably be a couple weeks until you guys see that, because I'm actually catching up on so many videos right now, and I'm actually going to film another outro, I guess, part to another video at the same time as I'm doing this one. But anyways, so one thing I wanted to talk about as well too, and I'm sure those of you that have considered doing the 17Z upgrade on anything like Mark IV platform, or I don't really know if it applies to the Mark V, but obviously the Mark 1 TT, is that people complain a ton about the pedal feel. Mainly the travel distance for where you get your brakes to activate is ginormous after you do this upgrade. Now, I don't want to say anybody's completely wrong in that regard, but I will say that I think people are being quite dramatic when they say that, because I've driven this car a lot. I've driven this car hard in the last couple of weeks with this setup. I also have Hankook Ventus RS2s. Very decent, I think, Treadwear 200 level tire on all four corners and in hot weather and everything. And I've never had an issue with the braking at all. The travel isn't very far. I originally, when I did put the calipers on, I didn't use a vacuum bleeding system to bleed the fluid. So I had a little bit of a spongy pedal, and it definitely did take a bit to kick in. I also did something a little bit different with the vacuum system in the car, because I have most of it deleted. And then I now run a hose directly from the brake booster with one of the check valves to the intake manifold. And I have an aftermarket intake manifold now too, which I'll do a video on and show you guys later. And so then like I said, I did a vacuum bleed. And then after I did the vacuum bleed, the brakes have been phenomenal. I barely have to touch them. And like, if I actually like really get on them, the car like stops. And it stops really hard. I can take you guys, like, I could take you for a ride and like show you how good the brakes are. Ultimately, you can't really tell until you actually feel it. But if you want to take my word for it, they stop, and they stop super well. And they look fantastic. Like, once I get actual decent looking wheels on here, just how big those brakes are with the two-piece rotors is gonna make this car definitely make people think it's actually fast. Because if you were to look at this car right now, aside from seeing the racing seat that's in here that I'm not gonna show you too closely because it's another video I have to finish, it just looks like a stock TT with some decent rubber if you knew anything about tires, but it's also dirty and it doesn't have anything aftermarket on the exterior. So yeah, you can't really tell, but the 17Z upgrade is definitely worth it if you can pick them up for really cheap. Like I said, I think I paid 300 bucks for these calipers, got them shipped from Calgary to Vancouver, so just one province over, about 1,000 kilometers. And then obviously you don't have to pay to get them powder coated. I did. I would honestly rattle can them if you guys want to do it on the cheap. Make sure you obviously do high performance stuff. And then if they're already out of the car, do the seals. It's not rocket science. You guys saw how easily I did the seals. I've never personally rebuilt brake calipers before. Like I said, 1,500 kilometers on this braking setup. I've had no fluid loss, no issues with the braking. Obviously there's no fluid coming out of it
because it hasn't ruined the powder coat or stained it or tinted the color or anything. And it's held up super well, and I'm very happy with this upgrade. And like I said, if you guys want to go ahead and do this yourself, I will have links in the description to not only the caliper carrier brackets that you need for the adaptation to the Mark 1 TT or the Mark 4 platform, but I'll also have a link to the pads that I'm running, which are the new EBC Blue Stuff X. This is a new compound for them. It's done super well. Apparently it's good for the track up to 1,000 degrees Celsius, which is crazy, but I'm also street driving it. They're not loud. They obviously do produce a little bit of brake dust because they are a track-oriented pad. And then also the two-piece rotors, which have been fantastic. And like I said, I've beat on these pretty hard, haven't warped yet. No weird issues or anything with them. And they are now an ECS lifetime part, kind of like FCP Euro. So we'll see if we can use that sooner or later, because this car is going to go on the track. And so we're probably going to need to replace the brake calipers, or not the brake calipers, the brake rotors at some point, or at least the metal discs. But that will do it for the 17Z install on the Mark 1 TT, ladies and gentlemen. If you are new here and you want to see more TT content, and you most importantly want to see this car go fast and have a fun time, do not forget to subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, but that will do it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. I will see you in the next video.